Hello everybody, Mark here, and today I'm going to do another film review. I've done one recently, but I've been neglecting the film reviews in favour of the food and whatnot. But today I'd like to tell you about these. It's a gem of a movie, in my opinion, entitled Sexy Beast, with Ray Winstone and Ben Kingsley. That's Ray Winstone on the front, Ben Kingsley on the back. That's him having a very heated argument with himself in front of the mirror. I'll explain why in a moment. And also Ian Mcshane. Now I'll tell you about Ian Mcshane's character in a moment, but you may remember him from the TV show Lovejoy back in the 80s. He's been in a bunch of movies, quite a few movies, a lot of it, but one you may remember in Deadwood, I think it was HBO. I bought the box set. It was a Western. He played the owner of the gem, Swidgen. That's what the Chinaman calls him, Swidgen. Seringen. Anyway, that's his character from the film Deadwood. Anyway, this is what you might call an English gangster movie. Although half of it is set in Spain, and the other half set back in London. Now, Ray Winstone here, he's a gangster, he's an ex-gangster. He's retired from the job, or from the life, and he wants to retire in Spain, in his villa, with his, there we are, ex-porn star wife, whose name I don't recall and I can't find it on the box here. Although it will be on the box, but it's in that very, very small writing. I could probably... Kingsley, Mcshane, Amanda Redman, that's it. It's very tiny writing. Amanda Redman, that's it, who plays his wife. Anyway, where was I? He's a retired con. He's living in Spain with Amanda Redman, his wife, ex-porn star wife, and everything's great. They're in the sun. They got a pool. They got a kid next door. He cleans the grounds. Everything's great until one day Ben Kingsley shows up. Now his character is totally different to what I've ever seen him before. It's totally against typecaster, or not that he's been typecast, I don't think, but this guy is a nutcase. You know, I don't know if you've ever met people in your life that once they've got their mind set on something. In this case, he has to recruit Ray Winstone has to recruit him for a job back in London, and this guy is focused. He will not take no for an answer, and it's like the people I've you come across people in life. There are certain people who you meet, if they're dead set on violence or a certain way of thinking, there's absolutely no talking them out of it. That's it. There's just something wrong in their head, and this guy is one of them, Ben Kingsley. He's told to recruit Ray Winstone, and he won't take no for an answer, and there's a good long period of the film where he's staying over for several nights, and he's just constantly badgering him, pushing him. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. And no, and he's not taking no. He's not going to do it. Why won't you do it? And the guy's a loon, and the way he acts the part in this Ben Kingsley in this part, you definitely get there's very little backstory on his character, on any of the characters. There's very little story. There's a little bit on Amanda Redman, but Ben Kingsley, all you have is the second he shows up, within the first 3 words out of his mouth, you get an instant knowledge about what this character is. Later on, you can fill in the gaps in your own head about what his background is. But the way he acts, you know that this guy is just a fruitcake from the day he was born. There was something wired wrong with him. And that's why he's in the life of being a villain. There's nothing else this guy could do for a living. He's just an out-and-out crazy bastard, you know, and he's just a lunatic. And Ray Winstone there, he's basically a low to middle level thief, I think. He's not a absolute violent criminal. He's criminal. He's just a crook. He's just a thief. If there's a bank robbery going or a jewel theft, you know, he'll be a part, but he's not a violent criminal like Kingsley. Anyway, so he's been badgered for a couple of days now. He doesn't want to do it. He's absolutely convinced he's not going to do it. But something happens. A turn of events happens during the film that forces Ray Winstone to go to London without Kingsley and do the job. It turns out it's a diamond heist on a bank or a security deposit place. And it involves scuba diving. That basically they flood the bank. They scuba dive. They bust a hole through the wall because next door is a sauna, and it's quite action, you know. But there's during the whole film. I've seen the film several times, and there's no real, as far as I can see, there's no real reason for him to be there. You know, I mean, obviously you need him there for the movie because without Ray Winstone as one of the main actors, it wouldn't be the same. But for the character, there's no reason for him to be there. They could get one of 50 guys to have taken his place in the robbery, but that's just something that I picked up on. But, of course, you have to have him for the film. Now, one of the people, Ian Mcshane, one of the people who put this heist together, his name is Bass. I want to say Freddie Bass. It might say... Anyway, he's I can't see. The character's name's Bass. Anyway, I'm sure it's Freddie Bass, played by Ian Mcshane. Like I say, he played Lovejoy on the TV show Lovejoy. He was in Deadwood. He's played, aside from Lovejoy, he played a really nice, likeable character. But then all the other characters he's played, some of them not so nice. In Redwood, he wasn't quite so nice of a guy, a bit of a killer. In this one, he is amazing. Now, there's very few actors. I mean, there's a lot of good actors out there that I appreciate as good actors, and I watch for these sort of signs. But this guy in this film is amazing. He's one of those actors who can almost say no dialogue, but you know what's going on. You can see it in the eyes, the face, the body language, the mannerisms that he puts on, the little facial expressions, the look in the eye that says, keep talking, I know you're lying. I don't believe a word you're saying, but I don't have the proof to call you on it. You know, that's what's the look in his face, in Ian Mcshane's face, when he has his dialogue with Ray Winstone here. Ray Winstone's lying out of his ass here. He's basically lying for his life because things have transpired which has forced him to show up for this bank job, and he has to explain where Ben Kingsley is and what he's doing and what he's up to, but he's lying. Ian Mcshane knows he's lying. He can read the body language and he knows he's lying, but he can't prove it, and that's the only reason why this guy doesn't get murdered right there in the tea shop, you know, over his breakfast. Ian Mcshane really plays a good part. It's the little nuances that somebody has where he knows, but he can't prove it, but he knows you're full of shit, and he's waiting for you to slip up. He plays an excellent part in that. He's really, and he's a diabolical, cool, calm and collected, diabolical killer, Ian Mcshane, or Freddie Bass. You know, he shows later on just how cold of a killer he is. And he'll just kill you for no reason, no warning, no dialogue, no no argument, he's going to your house to kill you, and he's just going to kill you. Within 2 minutes of showing up at your house, you're dead, and that's what kind of a guy he is, Freddie Bass. And there's a scene when they part company in the movie where Ray Winstone gets out of Freddie Bass's car to go back to the airport, to go back to Spain. There's a bit of a dialogue there where you absolutely know this guy could be 3 seconds away from being killed, but it's purely, it's almost like, not a toss of the coin, but it's the fact that, I mean, like Ray Winston says, you know, in the thing, I won't say exactly what he said because it's for the language, but he says, if I cared a fraction about Ben Kingsley's character, this wouldn't be going the same way. You know, if he could prove what's happened to Ben Kingsley, then this guy would be dead in his car in a ditch someplace, murdered, you know. But I mean, that's how cold he is, and good performances all round, you know. This guy's quite funny at times, you know. He's just a simple crook, and I want to be out of the life. Anyway, there might be a few spoilers in there. I've tried to keep them to a minimum because, you know, I want to tell you what the story's about, enough for you to go watch it, but not enough to spoil it for you. Let me see. I'm going to turn this sideways. I'm going to read the feature movie is only 84 minutes, which is kind of short. It's what's that? 6 minutes short of an hour and a half, which is very short by today's standards. But don't let that fool you. It is packed with... It's not an action film. There is a very small amount of gunplay. Okay, I mean, for a gangster film, normally English gangster movies have some gunfire, some shotguns and whatnot. This has a little bit of gunplay, but very small amount. It is more of a psychological, you know, the battle of wills between him and Kingsley, him and Freddie Bass, who any of them could, you know, basically murder this guy. And you do get the feeling that this guy is literally hanging on by a thread. I mean, this guy is lying with every ounce that he has, you know, because he knows he's got to lie. And if he slips up once, they're going to call him on it and he'll be killed, you know. That's how simple, that's how easy it is for this guy to die, and he knows it. And you imagine what kind of pressure that puts on you, on this character, through the whole film. Basically, from 10 minutes into the film, when he meets Kingsley, he knows that his life is could end, you know, and that's a hell of a pressure to have. And one slip of the lie. Anyway, I'm going enough of that. Anyway, so yeah, 84 minutes. Don't let that fool you. It is chock full of psychological. You know, it's quite intense. And the extras. There's 34 minutes of extras. I don't know if you can, if you pause on that, perhaps, and then you can have a read at your leisure. There we are. Oh, yeah, and of course it's an 18 certificate because of the, mostly because of the swearing. There's not a lot of, there's some, but there's not a lot of violence in it as such. Not enough to give it an 18, but yeah, you know, this is, I don't know whether, I don't know how well this did when it came out, but it's one of those. It's an English gangster, and it's what I call, it's in my collection because it's one I would call a gem, you know. It's one of those films, it's a lot of English gangsters have, you know, East End thugs doing a blag, and they got a shotgun, and they're murdering somebody over a bag of dope, or something goes wild and people are getting murdered in the woods. This isn't like that. It's English gangsters, and there's a bank robbery job, you know, diamond heist, and yeah, you know, well worth a go. My suggestion of the week. There'll be more. I've got a big collection of DVDs back there. Some of them, anyway. I'm going to be pulling out what I consider the gems and what I personally would recommend, and this is one of them. Okay, well, it's coming up to 14. Well, it's just over 14 minutes, and I hope you stay to the end. And if you did, thank you. And there'll be more coming soon. I'll be putting my favourites up for review shortly. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.